What's going on, beautiful people? Some of the tanks in the studio are doing really, really well at the moment. Some not so good. There is a reason, maybe there's a reason for it, maybe there is, I don't know. So we recently switched over the light on this tank. This is the rare fish ecosystem. Like, it's doing amazingly well since changing the light as well. The plants are just looking immense, isn't they? So that crypt there looking so good. And all the new growth, look, coming out of the top of this S. repens, you can see just on the top shoots, the plants are extra healthy without the deficiencies. Deficiencies are underneath, like where where before the light was like getting, obviously, it wasn't bright enough down there. But again, look at this limnophila. Look how close together the nodes are. The nodes at each point where the leaves grow out of. Usually you need CO2 to get it looking like that, don't you? I mean, I've never had it growing that close together before. And that's all down to the light, which, let's face it, it's not cheap, right? It's not a budget light, but it's not high-end either. And it wasn't a huge amount of money for a 4-foot tank, fully customizable, with one of the best lighting renditions I've seen. I mean, it just looks so good. Everything looks good in this tank. Fish, the plants, even the substrate. I like the way the substrate looks as well. So this right here is my Guppy Aquarium. Set it up quite recently and I've not had to do anything at all, to be honest, apart from what you've just seen there, scrape the glass. And I think I've trimmed the plants once already. They are already due for like another trimming. We'll get to that in a bit, but first of all, there was a slight issue with some hair algae. I think it's sorted now, fingers crossed anyway. Yeah, you should be able to see right there, look, see how all that algae that's on that microsorum there, that's all turned white. That means it's dead. It'll be picked off by the guppies soon enough. They'll just use it as another food source, really. They're all doing really well. Only boys in here, so a bit of a sausage fest. We're not going to be having constant little babies, although I'll probably add some females at some point. So the way I trim plants nowadays is a bit different. I just grab, see this thumbnail? Thumbnail. I actually keep it longer, like a pimp nail or something, just so I can come in and go, done. And then that way I can get really like exact areas on the plant where I want them trimmed. Like you can't always see where you're cutting, but you can feel a lot better. So I can feel the nodes of the plant as I come down it like this. I'm going to trim all of these down low and then replant them. Oh, the rotala's creeping as well. I can see it at the back moving across. There we go, nice little water top up, and for me that is looking great again. Oh, I've left a few of the plants up there, take them out in a minute. I quite like the way the polysperma at the back there is sitting, so I've just left that. This will all actually grow faster than that side, so come another week I'll have to trim it again. So now a couple of days since this trim up, and I was right about the algae, that's done. The tank looks so good though. I think, and I'm not sure if you'll agree with me or not, but I think this is one of the best tanks I've done to get that nature aquarium look in a sort of really low budget way. You know, we've got cheap lighting, we've got cheap filtration. The only thing that isn't cheap, of course, is substrate, wood, all that sort of thing. That all adds up, but you can't really do it without it. You can, just not to sort of this degree. I mean, you can go and look for wood yourselves. You can go down rivers and things and look for bits of driftwood that's got lodged in places. I would do that. I mean, as long as it's a hardwood, you're pretty good to go. I know some people are a little bit funny about taking stuff from nature in terms of, is it clean? How do you purify it? I mean, if it's in a river with like so much flowing through it, it's probably going to be all right, isn't it? Saying that, I live in the middle of the countryside. I don't live in a town where there's like trolleys and things, so maybe that might be the case for you. But look at this. This is the algae that we saw before. Look at that. The fact that it's all pink means it's a goner. That's just going to be picked off now, or it'll just come off and you rub it later on. But I'll just leave it, let it do its thing. It'll just sort of flake away on its own. But yeah, great tank. Oh yes, and just as I'm filming that, look, we've got our little buddy next to us come to the front. Hello, mate. Yeah, look, this is our Dumbo betterfish, and he's in this whole Wildstad aquarium thing I set up. There's no filtration apart from the plants. That's why there's so many of them. But you know, these fish don't like big open swimming areas anyway. They like to go through the little labyrinth and that. And he's just sat there waiting for me to feed him. Come on then, little buddy. Tap, tap, tap. Come on, over here. No, don't. Oh. I tend to just put the flake wherever he is. He just darted down that back corner. So I'll just leave some flake on the surface. He might come back in a minute. I think it's because he's used to me feeding him here, and when my hands are here, he's fine. But because I went over there, he got a bit spooked. Oh, look, it's come to the front again now. No, the food is at the back, my friend. I put it down there. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, go find it. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, come on. Come on. Yeah, you can sense it's there. Go get it. Now, quite a lot of you have also been asking about Timmy, saying that you're really worried about him. How's he doing? He's doing absolutely fine, still as cute as can be. I'll show you in a minute, just doing a little bit of maintenance at the moment, filling out the water, cleaning some of the glass. Because we've got this halfway down sort of thing going on with the tank, it means that you get splashes and the glass can get quite dirty. I don't think I'll do that next time. I want to do a new setup for him soon, actually, and that's because he's starting to get too big for this tank. Well, not the tank, but the setup anyway. So here he is, look. Hello, buddy. I know it looks like, oh, there's not much space for him. All of this like vegetation, everything inside the tank. Oh my goodness, there's a baby. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's false alarm. It's just a bit of crud from the glass. Look at him coming over. Look, you have a look. Woo. Don't be scared of that. It's not the first time you've seen it, is it? But yeah, what we got going on at the moment. So at the top here, some of the ferns started to die off, just like that. They all started to turn, and then just like that, they've started growing brand new ones again, brand new leaves. So maybe that's a seasonal thing. I don't know. At first, I was thinking maybe it's because the water level got too low or something. But if you look there, look at all that. That's all roots from the ferns. So they're getting constant amounts of water. So it's definitely not that. It must be just a temperature, seasonal sort of thing. But all good. It's a proper boggy look, this tank, isn't it? How's it? Look at that. All of that sort of, I don't even know if that's moss or if that, yeah, some of that is moss. I don't know how that's got there, but it just gives it that proper aged and boggy look, doesn't it? He absolutely loves it. It's just, when I change it, all I'm going to be basically doing is giving him more sort of exploration area, because at the moment he's only got there and then round the back a little bit where that fish has gone. We used to have a lot more of the white clouds, didn't we? I wonder where they've gone. Over the last sort of 6 months or so, probably even longer actually. He's probably had a few of them. But yeah, interestingly, that one there was one that was actually bred in this tank, and it's the only one left. So it's obviously learned to just stay completely away from Timmy. No, Timmy, no. Yeah, okay, phew, we're good. Oh yeah, not to forget, he has also got the bristle nose in with him as well, which is why a lot of the rocks and everywhere looks really good algae-wise, or there isn't any, because they're doing a good job. I think there's one behind as well. There's 2 there. I think there's 3 in here. I can't even remember, but there's at least 2 in there doing a good job. Yeah, there is actually quite a few tanks dotted around the studio at the moment that I want to be redoing, so expect that coming up. A couple of the big tanks here, like the Indian tank here that I set up, and also the rainbow fish one at the back there that I set up. When I did it, I reused quite old aquasoil, stuff that's been about for like, I don't know, about a year of use, and as a result, we're not getting anything like the plant growth that I would expect. Yes, I could just put root tabs everywhere, but that's not like a long-term solution, is it, to consistently keep doing that? I'd rather just start the whole thing again, to be honest. I mean, the other thing is that I'm not really enjoying the scapes themselves, and when you're not enjoying them, you can't really, you can't maintain them as well as you should, probably. So the Indian tank has got our barbs in there. We've got tiger barbs, which aren't Indian, but I moved them over when I did the guppy tank. We have got Denison barbs, so the torpedo barbs, a really fast one. And we have got the Drake's fin tetra as well. In terms of growth-wise, the crypts, to be fair, the crypts are actually doing really, really well. That's like an immersed leaf, but all the bottom growth there, all that brand newness that you can see there, growing really well. The fern is not doing very well at all. That one in particular, I'm not sure why, even though the other one is. Some things in this hobby, and I'm sure you guys are the same, you just can't explain it sometimes, and you're like, okay, whatever, take it out, put something else in. The stem plants, I have never had problems to grow stem plants in any tanks in my whole time doing this, but this one, they do not look the healthiest, do they? I think it's a lighting issue. I did put some floating plants at the top, you see, and they seem to have just sort of blocked quite a lot of the light. I'd also think I want to put a bigger filter on this, like an actual canister. I'm kind of enjoying the canisters again now. I do like these, they do work having these internal ones, and the whole point of using those was to show you guys you can create something cool just having a little internal filter. For instance, this tank, as I've already shown, the rare fish aquarium has only ever had a tiny little filter in it. This one at the side that just pumps the water around. Barely working at the moment actually, I need to clean it out, but so you can get great growth with these little filters. It's much harder to get it balanced though, but you can do it. So quite a few of you have also been asking for an update on the new Wallstad aquarium that we did, this one back here. Doing really, really good. I'm impressed with it so far. A few little issues. We get some crypt melt, which is to be expected with crypts. Slight clouding of the water. Fish are all good though. Water parameters are all good. Yeah, here we go. Look, take a look at that. So you can see there's a slight sort of haze to the water. I'm not going to change it though. Just going to leave it to do its thing. It will balance itself out. All the floating plants have multiplied massively already, so it's actually quite dark in the tank, so I might remove some of those. Not the red root floaters though, they've got new leaves appearing on the top. Look at those tiny little red bits. looking good. Fish is doing really good though. Like I said, we've got the lamp eyes there, looking nice. That one little rice fish we've got there, and then we've got the golden barbs at the back there. There's one of them. See what I mean? It's quite misty, isn't it? It's not crystal yet, but that's fine. We'll give it time. And you can see where the melt is right there. Look, at the base, you can see those crypts are looking very sort of meh. The front ones as well, we've got a little bit of it going on with the crypt parva. All the other plants though seem to be doing really well. I'm really happy with the tank so far. It just takes longer to dial in this kind of tank. Up above it though, up above it, oh wow. This is the most successful shrimp tank that I've ever created, and I'm so pleased with how this is going. So at one point, the rocks were just absolutely covered in green, but now look, if we step back, they're still green and they look cool. I really like that. There's just shrimp everywhere. There's details everywhere. Oh, I've just fed some of the shrimps. They're down here. They're down getting their lunches. Yeah, it's lunchtime. But what's most impressive about this is the amount of buried shrimp that we've got going on, and also that first generation of shrimp now has grown half its sort of adult size. You see that blue just a little bit under there? That's one that was bred in this tank, and there you go on the rock there as well, right in the centre. That's one. So those are coming through, and we're starting to see another set of new babies coming in as well. Let me try and find them for you. Yeah, another one on the rock there. So that's slightly smaller than the ones I just showed you. That was another batch. Again, all growing out, all healthy and good, which is so cool. Really happy. Look, the grass and everything. It's a very weird tank I've created here, isn't it? But, you know, I quite like that. And actually, when you really stay still, look at the grass, look. There's way more babies in there than I thought. They seem to love hanging around in this area. I'm not entirely sure why. Do they feel protected, do you reckon? It probably is something like that, isn't it? I also imagine that this taller hair grass catches quite a lot of finer particles as well, so it might be a really good food source. It's like a creche for the babies, isn't it? Like a baby garden. Love that. And not to forget, of course, the snails in this skate really help them with everything. They create waste. The waste that they create themselves from cleaning everything, the shrimp actually peck on as well. So like, there's one big circle of life in this tank. One thing I have noticed though, is that when you're keeping a lot of shrimp in one area, now this isn't a huge amount to be honest, there is, if you just stay still, there is action like absolutely everywhere, but this isn't a huge amount compared to the amount you could have. But when you do start getting lots of shrimp, you need to be sure that you're feeding every day. That's what I find anyway. I do a combination of food. I do little pellets that I put in here, but I also take my flake food and I like break it up as hard as I can on my fingers and just put it all on the top. It's just so that it goes everywhere. There's all different size particles then for all the different shrimp as well. And I think, to be honest, that's partly why I've been having such good success with those babies going through the generations now, is because I'm providing a food source for absolutely all of the shrimp. We've got the very fine sort of stuff that's going to be the algae that's on the rocks, the biofilm everywhere. We're going to have the crumbled up flake food, and we're going to have the pellets for the bigger shrimp. So everyone is covered in this tank. And hopefully by now you guys have seen the last build video that I did, which was this awesome little tank here for Caridina shrimp. So what we just looked at is the Neocaridinas, a lot sort of easier I'm finding, and this is the Caridinas. So they're crystal whites, crystal blacks, those kind of things, the bee shrimp, and they're more difficult. You've got to be much more on it with them, I've found, but I'm starting to get good success. So at the time of seeing this video that you're watching now, this tank has been set up for about 3 weeks. There's biofilm and everything. There's a sort of gentle haze of algae on certain things. The shrimp seem to be doing really well. I've not seen any buried yet, but I'm sure that'll come. I don't want to be impatient. Bye. Something about the crystal reds, I think, are probably some of the best looking shrimp. I know they're not that uncommon, you know, so it's not like they're rare or really valuable. They're not cheap, don't get me wrong, but like, I love them. I think they're probably the best looking shrimp. I do like the ones that have the orange eyes as well. I think they're blue with orange eyes, but yeah, I haven't got those, but maybe I'll get them at some point. I just want to make sure that this goes successfully. What we did different here is we used Akadama soil, which is for like bonsai. It's not normally what you put in your tanks, but having since seen this, and some people mentioned on my channel in the comments, it's not as uncommon as I thought. Like, quite a lot of all the top shrimp breeders do it, and every one of them said it's really good stuff. But then they didn't also have them in all of their tanks, so I'm thinking, well, if it's really good, why aren't we all doing it? Anyway, it seems to be doing well at the moment. I'm really looking forward to this progressing. Boost is looking good as well. It's really liking the highlighting that I'm giving it. And the reason we're not getting any algae in this tank is it's probably because there's such minimal amount of waste. There's a little bit of algae on just a couple of leaves, but that's actually clearing up now. So hopefully we've got really good balance. Yeah, love this. So yeah, I've got quite a few sort of experimental things going on at the moment. I'm trying new things. You know, I'm quite passionate about trying new things. I think it's exciting and it keeps interest going. So yeah, that's cool. Loads of new builds coming up. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. I will see you on the next one.